Hello again, and happy not Valentine's Day because it passed, but I still want to make a Valentine's Day doll. Yay! Anyway, like I said, I wanted to make a Valentine's Day doll, so I picked up this Gen 3 Jackie Laura doll and made some concept art. I started with 3 drawings with a coquette fashion inspiration. I started with this brunette drawing and gave her jeans and a cute top and jacket. She was cute, but ultimately I thought she was a bit boring for a doll. Like, I don't think someone could look at her and assume that she was supposed to be for Valentine's Day. Interestingly enough, though, this ended up being my mom's favorite. I then switched gears and heavily leaned into this red, black, and white color palette and made this Daughter of the Queen of Hearts looking character. I liked her, but she was just a bit gothy, edgy, just not Valentine's enough for me. For the last concept art, I tried going full pink girly girl with an oversized bun, lacy dress, and ribbon shoes, which came out super adorable, except now I couldn't see anything but a ballerina. The bun and ribbon shoes are probably not the best idea. So with these 3 concept arts, I decided to recolor all of them and try to get inspiration that way. I made 2 more recolored versions of each concept art and came up with these. For the brunette, I made a pink and black haired version and it was looking closer to what I wanted. However, I still wasn't feeling the outfit and my previous doll already had black hair, so. For the Daughter of the Queen of Hearts, I made her versions with blonde and black hair. I really liked the black haired one but decided against it because of the reason that I just said. But I also loved the blonde hair with the soft pink and white. In fact, I was most likely going to go with this one, but I thought I should at least make one more version of the ballerina. The 2 versions of the ballerina were disappointing to say the least. The white hair one looked like she was ready for Christmas, or maybe she was like a younger Mrs. Claus. Anyway, it wasn't what I was looking for, and the pink haired one was not giving what I wanted her to give. So this is what I decided to go with. To start this custom off, I had to do something about Jackie Laura's ears. As pretty as they are, I am not making an elf or vampire doll, so I had to chop them off. I first marked her ear so I know where to cut. Then I heated up my X-Acto knife and got to work. I wasn't sure how well this would work, but it actually came out pretty good. Now I strip her of everything and make her into a blank canvas. I removed her clothes and got out my pure acetone and wiped her face clean. Then I cut off her hair until she had a buzz cut. Next, it was time to take off her scalp so I can get the rest of her hair out. I do this by using my X-Acto knife and making a circle in the back of her head. Once open, I get some pliers and start removing her hair plugs. All done, now I have to super glue her scalp dome back on her head. I hate saying that word. I put some super glue around and put her head back in place. Okay, cool. With her body now being a blank canvas, I can now airbrush her. I really don't like to airbrush, but I thought I'd give it a try. I have to first set up an area where I'm not going to make a mess, so I used to cut up trash back for the airbrush area. I test out the airbrush to make sure it works, and surprisingly, it's not giving me any trouble. Yet. I use a white primer on her first to have a good base to start her actual skin color, but as I'm airbrushing, the full concentration of the sun is also showing up in the recording, and you literally can't see anything. So I had to record some parts on my phone.
Oh, this is how it's going. I think the primer is pretty much done. Just gotta hang her up.
As I set her down to dry, I start working on her clothes. But there's one problem. These Gen 3 Monster High dolls are different sizes from the previous ones, which means I don't have a pattern for them. And as I said in my previous video, I am not a seamstress, but I guess I am today. I made a quick sketch of what I want the bodice of her shirt to look like and cut some fabric out in that shape and started sewing. And surprise, surprise, it came out so small. Like it's a perfect size for my thumb. My next attempt was a bit of a redemption, but it was still too small. The bodice fit in the front of her body, but it was not going to connect to the back. So let's make another one. This time I did something a little different and sewed 2 bodice pieces together so that it looks more clean. It came out good, but still too small. On the next attempt, it came out pretty good as I was getting used to the process. It was a good size in the front and it connected to the back, so not too bad. At this point, I did feel comfortable enough using the actual fabric. The fabric I'll be using is this cute pink fabric with little hearts swirled around. So for the first pass, I made the bodice, but you could totally see the stitching on the side. And if I were to add to the back of her shirt, it would make the bodice even smaller. So I had to make a bigger version. And the fabric was starting to fray, so I needed to fray check it as well. One fray checked bodice later, and we now have a decent looking bodice. I even felt comfortable enough to add to the sides and use lace to cover the top part of the shirt. I had to hand sew the lace on, it was way too small to fit in my sewing machine. Also, for some reason, I never filmed the final product, but just know that I went through many alterations to the same bodice, with little tweaks here and there, and these are some of the alterations. I wanted to crash out at this point because I'm a fake seamstress. I was getting so upset, and I had to take a break and work on the body again. Now it was time to airbrush her skin color on, except the airbrush wasn't working. I was not about to spend 6 hours trying to figure out why it decided to not work, so I just painted her instead. And honestly, this airbrush paint came out great. It wasn't too thick, it dried quickly, and the coverage was pretty good. The only downside is that not much paint comes in these little bottles. I did 2 coats, and this is how it turned out. Next is my favorite part of doll customization, the face up. I started sketching the basic shape of her eyes with a brown watercolor pencil until I was happy with how it turned out. Once I was done drawing the basics, I sealed her with the Mr. Super Clear spray so I could add onto each layer. At some point while I was doing her face up, the stick thing that I had propping up her head just kind of broke and a piece got stuck inside of her.
Oh, get out. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, what the flip? What the heck even is this? Anyway, put it back in.
Once I was done drawing her eyes, I added blush around her face. Then it was time for the eyebrows. Eyebrows aren't my favorite, but it's doable. My first attempt at them, the eyebrows came out a little too high. So I erased them and drew them lower.
She was very surprised. Is it too high? It's too high.
I blushed her lips a nice pink color, and at this point it's just rinse and repeat with Mr. Super Clear spray. I also went in and used black for her eyelids and started filling in her eyes. Her pupils are heart-shaped, of course. At some point, I got my gouache paints out because my white watercolor pencil was just not showing up. This is actually a common issue I have, but gouaches always do the trick. I also used the paint to touch up the white around her eyes, her pink eyes, and the heart iris. It turned out good.
Oh, dude, that dollop is so good. And I recreated. Oh, dang. Oh my gosh. Oh, dude, I'm using all my artist luck right now. Dang, I messed it up.
Also, my nail polish has been chipping away day by day and is progressively getting worse throughout the video, so I'm just gonna... Anyway, back to the face. I'm pretty much almost done. It's just more some last minute finishing touches and making sure everything is opaque enough. So this is how she turned out. I like it, very cute, very red. For her lips, I decided to put that black outline around it. I like how it looks, and her concept art also did have the black outline. I feel like it's a little better than just having a plain reddish pink lip. With her face complete, it was time to do some body blushing. I blushed her joints with a pink soft pastel powder. Just a little blush goes a long way. And that's the body complete. I haven't even mentioned this skirt. It wasn't too bad to make. I folded some pleats into the skirt and sewed it down until it was long enough. It's not going to be as long as this, I just needed to make sure it wasn't too short. Now to the last piece of the doll. Her hair! I had some blonde doll planet hair on standby and I plugged it in one by one into her head. I had to go through a couple YouTube videos to entertain myself. I want to say this took about 3 hours to do. I suggest having some Reddit stories or a movie or YouTube playing in the background to keep you sane. When I was all done plugging her hair, I had to put glue in to keep her hair from slipping out. I also used a paintbrush to mush around the glue to ensure that it hits all the hair plugs. Leave it to dry for a couple hours or overnight and you're all set for the next step. The next step is to boil wash her hair. Boil some water and pour it carefully over her hair and it should turn out like this. Then all you have to do is let her dry, style her hair, and she's done. Finally. Here she is. I almost crashed out trying to make her outfit. Of course it's not perfect, but practice makes it a little better than last time. I learned a lot, especially that I'm not a seamstress, but it was fun. I also used her same tights and shoes from the original Draculaura doll. I am not yet on the level of making shoes. I wish I was. Sometime in the future I will make my own shoes and accessories though. Her name is Candace, with candy being her nickname. I always associate chocolates and candy with Valentine's Day, so it makes sense to me at least. She also low-key reminds me of Candace from Phineas and Ferb, but now I can't unsee it. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye. Next, it was time to what? To stutter? For the daughter of the Queen of Hearts, I made her versions with blonde hair and black hair. I really like the black hair one, but I decided against it for the aforementioned reason, and you can resort that. Yeah. I felt the tongue twister coming on. I was about to, For the daughter of the Queen of Hearts, I made her versions with blonde hair and black hair. Why is this still recording? Where am I in the script? Okay. I didn't see where I was. For the daughter of the Queen of Hearts, I made her versions with blonde and black hair. I really like the black hair one, but decided against it because of the I'm gonna get rid of that word. Aforementioned? I can't say that.
You just said it.
First pass, I made the bodice, but you could totally see the stitching on the side. And if I were to add to the back of her shirt, it would have made the bodice. When I was all done plugging her hair.